I told you about that how we can create the data frame by using the dictionary, by using the list of dictionary. That's I told you. And now in the same way we can use the NumPy array. For that we have to create the 2D NumPy array, or you can create the dictionary data frame with the help of the series also. In that we have to create the object of series, and that series object we have to pass as an argument to the dictionary. So how you can do this? If you want to create the, just I'm going to show it here. Let us adjust the screen. So if I want to create the series with the NumPy array, so I have to create the 2D array here. So I'm going to create a 2D array. Okay, and my keyboard is not working fine. So np dot array, and I'm going to pass a list of the 2D array here. List here 101, 102, 103. Okay, 201, 202, and 203. Okay, and 301, 302, 303. So this way we have to pass the list here as a argument to the array function, and it's going to create the 2D array. And now this 2D array we are going to pass to the data frame. Okay, a data frame object, and what I have to write pd dot data frame, and inside this we are going to write the ARR, and it's going to create the data frame. Sorry, the name is wrong. So now my data frame is created. This is the column index and this is the rows index. Okay, so not so very difficult here. It's a simple task and you can do it very easily. The next thing, if we want to create the dictionary through the series object, then what we have to do? First we have to create the series, that is that series inside the dictionary. So I'm going to create the one series object like this. I'm going to create the one series student s2 st name. Okay, I'm writing here st name, and now I'm going to write the name of the some students in a series object. So I'm writing here series, and I'm going to pass the data here. Muskan, okay, and Vikas, okay, Tamanna. Okay, so there's two names, there's three names I'm just keeping here. So now my one series is created here. That name is the st name. Okay, and look at this. Now I'm going to create the another series object. Suppose I'm going to create another series object, that is the marks, and equal to marks equal to, I'm going to write here pd dot series. Okay, so here I'm going to provide the some marks here 25, 30, and 35. Suppose. Okay, so this marks I have given. So now I have the marks object also. This is the series object. Now I want to create a dictionary because I have to create the data frame. So I'm going to create the dictionary here, and now I'm going to write sorry. So now I'm going to write here name as a key. Okay, name as a key. Gaurav sir is joining the class. All of you say good morning to Gaurav sir. Name as a key, and then I'm passing the st name here, st name. Okay, and at the same time now I'm creating the marks. This is the key, and I'm passing the marks series object as argument here. Okay, so now you see the dictionary is created here, and then what we have to do, we want to we want to create the dictionary. Oh, sorry, data frame. So what we will do now, we are going to create the data frame, and I'm going to write the data frame, and this name of the data frame is df2, and I'm going to write here pd dot data frame, and I'm going to pass here dict. I'm going to pass here dict, and you can check your data frame is created like this. This is your column index, as I told you last time also. Okay, this is the, look at this. If you are look at this series is there. So these all are the inner index. These all are the series index. These all are the series index. Gaurav sir want to say something, I think. Yes, sir. Yes, Gaurav sir, do you want to say anything?
No, sir. You please continue.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, so this is the series object here. Look at this. This is your series index. This is the series index, and this is the dictionary in key field. Okay, so the key, this is the outer. You can say this is the outer key. Outer key. So outer key becomes the column index. I told you also, and inner key become the row index. So inner key from the dictionary series it's taken as a row index, and this is the outer key, so it's become the column index. So these things you have to remember, because in exam they can ask us this. Maybe they have given this and they can ask the write the name of the columns, write the name of the index. Okay, so in that case you have to provide this, so don't be confused with it. So in this way we can create the dictionary. So sorry, data frame. Now you got it. And now we are going to talk about the attributes. Data frame is also having the, if you want to display the data frame, so what command we are going to use? The simple command in a Python, either you use the data frame name or you use the print statement. In a print statement, you provide the data frame as an object. You will see the output. So this way you can get the output here also. Okay, got it? Now we are going to talk about the attributes. What are the different attributes? As you know, whenever you create the series object, whenever you create the data frame object, this series and data frame is having their own attributes, and attributes is help us to find out the some values related to the data frame. Okay, like this. If we want to know about the index, then which attributes we are going to use? We are going to use the index column. Achha, one thing you have to understand, as in a data frame, there are two index. There are two index. Okay, so this is the column index. This is called column index, or you can say columns. This is column index, or you can say this is the columns. Okay, and this is your row index, but it is known as the index. It is known as the index, or in, if you want to understand, if you're not able to remember, then you can remember it, this is the row index. So whenever you use the index attribute of data frame, it's always return row index value. What return? Row index value. But if you use the columns, if you use the columns, we are getting the column index. It will return the column index value here. Okay, the other attributes are the axis. You can use the axis attributes also, and it will return the list representing both the axes. It will return the both axes. It will return the both axis value. Okay, means axis 0 and axis 1. What is the axis 0? I told you yesterday also. Axis 0 is refer to the index, and axis 1 is the refer to the columns. Okay, so these things you have to remember. The what is the another thing? Another thing is the data type. If we are going to check the data type, so data type returns the data type of data in the data frame. It's returned the data type of data in a data frame. The next is the size. Through the size, we can get the in representing the number of elements in the object. Number of elements in the object. If you are going to check the shape, it will return the tuple format in shape. Means it return the dimension of the your data frame. Means how many rows and how many columns are there. So this value we are going to get. But it's this output is always in a tuple formats. What is this next? Next is the values. Values returns the numpy representations. It gives the output, means whole data frame you will get in a numpy array format. It's return the value in a numpy array. Okay, so there is a one question is it's important for this. So this attributes you must be remember. Okay, which attributes we have to use to get the numpy representations of data frame. Okay, one is the empty. Empty, if you want to check, the data frame is empty or not, for that purpose we are using the empty attributes. And in there is a one attributes also, that is the important, and in that is return the number of dimension, and it is always 2. If you are going to use and in with the series object, you are getting 1, but here you are getting 2. Okay, and one more is the most important, that is called transpose of the data frame. If you want to transpose, then for that purpose we are using the T attribute. Okay, so what is the meaning of the transpose? Transpose means row is going to convert in a column, column is going to convert in a row. Okay, so whole representations are going to change. This, if I am going to transpose this, so we are getting the output like this: 101, 102, 103, 201, 202, 203, 301, 302, 303. So this output you are getting. This output you are getting in this way. Okay. So now I'm going to show you one by one quickly, so that we have to complete the so many process. And if I'm not able to complete in this class, so you have to join the class again after just taking the 5 to 10 minutes break. Only 5 minutes break. Okay. So now I'm going to, I have a two data frame DF2 and I have a one data frame DF only. So now I'm going to write DF index, and you just look at here, df index is returning the df index, and at the same time I'm writing here, I'm pressing this command enter key here and delete this, and I'm adding df1 index. So you can see what is the problem. There is a df, oh sorry, df2, sorry. It's no df1 is there, df2. So now you look at this, this is the df2 index, because it's giving the row index, and row index is given by automatically here also, and in this also. So that's why it's written like range index. But if you had given it explicitly, it's through your data, it's going to assign the row index. In that case, it's giving that value only. So now look at the column index. If I'm going to, in case of the index, I'm going to write here column. So what output we are getting here? Look at this, name and marks. This is the index here. Okay. Next is the axis. If I'm going to write here df2 dot axis, you can see after giving the dot, you can find out the context menu is automatically open. It's showing you the help also. So through this, now it's showing the first the row index. This is the row index, and this is the column index. So both indexes you are getting through the axis. Okay. Data types. If I'm going to write here data type, so df2 dot d type. So sorry, I have to use here types, data types. Okay, s, don't forget the s here. So now it's showing that name, there are two columns. So what is the data type of name? It is object. What is the data types of the marks? It is integer. Okay, and the whole data type is what? That is the object always, because we have given the mixed value here. But I'm going to check the df data types, because in df the all values are numeric only. So look at this. This is the, because it is the numpy array. So that's why it is showing the integer 32, integer 32, integer 32, and at last it is an object. Now we have to check the size. So I'm going to write here size, df2 dot size. So look at this. The total number of elements are 6. Why 6? Because it's having the 3 rows, 2 columns. So total number of elements, that is the 6. If we are going to check df2 dot shape, so it's giving the output 3 rows, 2 columns. It's always in the tuple format. First refer to the row, number of rows, and second refer to the number of columns. Okay. After this, if we want to numpy representations of this, so we have to write down the df2 dot values. Now look at this. This is the numpy array. So it's giving the output in the form of the numpy array. Okay. You can store it also if you. Yeah. So through this we can get the numpy representations of. So as I am telling you, you can use the values to get the numpy representations of your data frame. Okay. Now, if you want to, what is this next? Next is the empty. Empty is used to check the empty data frame. Suppose I'm going to create the df3 is equal to, and now I'm writing here pd dot data frame, and I'm not going to pass any arguments here. So what happened? This is the empty. So if I check the here df3 dot empty, I'm getting the true value. But in case of the df2 dot empty, if I'm going to write, I'm getting the false value here. Why I'm getting the false value? Because this is not empty here. The one is the number of dimensions. I told you number of dimension is always with a data frame it is 2, and number of dimension with the series is always 1. Okay, so these things you have to remember. Now we are going to talk about the transpose. So look at this. This is your actual data frame, and I'm going to write the transpose of data frame. So look, the row is becomes the column here. 101, 102. That is becomes the 101, 102. Look at this. Okay, 201. First, this is the row, and now it is becomes the column here. So that is the transpose. If I'm going to use the df2 dot this, we can get the value in this way. What is the actual data frame? It is looks like this way, and now after transposing we are getting the output in this format. Okay, sometimes they can ask you by which function you can get the number of rows in your data frame. So for that purpose we are using the len function. By using the len function you can count the number of rows. It's always return the number of rows, remember that. Okay, there is a count function also. We are using the sometime count functions with the data frame. So what is the use of the count function here? The count function used to count the non-nan value. Non-nan value means not a number value. Means suppose if there is, if I'm looking at this, and if suppose there is any value is the nan, in that case it's going to ignore this. If it is nan here, then it's going to count function is going to ignore this. Okay, so we can use the count functions to count the number of nan value, and you can use it by row wise and you can use it by the column wise also. So by default it's going to count by row wise. Okay, so if I'm writing like this, count, look at this, how many values are there. In a name there are 3 values, in a marks there are 3 values. Why? Because there is no nan value is there. Okay, but if there is any nan value, then it's going to reduce the counter. Okay, if you want to count column wise, so what, this is the row wise, so I'm going to count the column wise. So what I have to use, I have to use here 1, and now you can see, now it's giving the data according to the column wise data. Okay, so this way we can use the, so you can use the axis column also. Instead of this count 1, you can write here axis 1, you can write here axis columns, you can write here axis index. So this is also allowed here, means axis equal to index, we can write like this way also. So this is also allowed here. So in this way you can use this. So this is about the attributes of the data frame. So what are the different attributes and how you are going to use it. Next, there is some things you have to understand how to access the particular element. Suppose sometimes they can ask you to display the particular columns, to display the particular rows. Okay, so how we can do this? If you want to display the particular columns, we have to use the dot notation. Which notations we have to use? We have to use the dot notations to display the particular column. Like this, if I want to display the only the name column of the data frame, so what I have to write? df2 dot name. What I have to write? df2 dot name. I have to write df2 dot name there in that case. Okay, but 1 minute. Who is in waiting room? No one is. Okay, so in this way we can access the data, df2.name, df2.marks. So this way we can access the individual columns data here. Okay, now I'm going to show you like this. I'm writing here df2.name. I'm writing here. So look at this, it is the name. Achha, one thing we have, I'm going to tell you, if I'm going to check the df2.name, I'm going to check the data type of df2.name. So look, see, what is the data type of this? This is the series type. So it's always give the output in the form of the series. It's always give the output in the form of the series. And we all know if we want to access the particular value of the series, we are using the index. So if I use this whole data in this way, then what happened? Then what happened? I am getting the name 0, means now I'm going to show you. So you just try to understand it carefully. Okay, because if you are accessing this is the series. This is the series, and this name is written at the 0 index position, this name is written at the 1 index position, this name is written as the 2 index position. If I'm accessing this column, then this is the another series. This 25 is written at 0, this 25 is here. Suppose this is the name of the series is the marks. So I want to access the marks of 0 position, then what I have to write? Marks of 0. Okay, if I want to access this, then what I have to write? Marks of 1. Okay, if I want to write, then what I have to write? Marks of 2. So in the same way, I can write like this with df2 dot marks. So df2 marks is the name of this series, and now I'm going to access the 0 position, so it's giving the 25. So this way we can access the individual element. Okay, if we want to access the individual element, we can use here. That is the basic concept. That is the basic concept of accessing the individual value, or basic concept of accessing the individual columns. If you want to access the individual columns, we are using this concept only. Okay, now if suppose you want to access the multiple columns or something like this, then we have to provide the name of the column. Suppose I want to access the multiple columns, so what I have to do, I have to provide the name of the columns as a list argument. As a list argument, look at this, what I'm doing here. I'm writing here name and marks all together in this way, and you can observe this marks and name are written as a list argument. Okay, so it is given in a square bracket as a list, and we can get the value like this. So these things also you have to remember. This is the very important for us. Okay, now there is some more functions which you have to understand, that is about the selections, but selection, indexing, boolean indexing using labels. Okay, so now we are going to talk about the operations, but before going to talk about the operations, I'm going to tell you there is one more function that we have to must be know, that is called log and add function, and ilog and iadd function. This help us to accessing the individual rows and individual columns. If we want to access the individual rows, individual columns, These functions we can use. And sometimes we can use the slice concept also. We can use the slice concept also. Through the slicing, we can also access the individual rows or individual columns in a data frame. Like this, if I'm writing here df0 comma 1, so look at this, it's showing the 0 row, it's showing the 0 row. So this is the slicing concept. Okay, so now I'm writing here df2 and I'm writing here 0 comma 2. So what happens? 0 and 1 rows, 2 rows data we are getting here, 2 rows data we are getting here. So through that we can also access the individual. But suppose if I want to access the individual column, I want the 2 row output, but I want only suppose I'm writing here 0 comma column 2, and now here with the log function, now I'm going to tell you what is the use of the log function. Log function is used to access the individual rows. If you want to access the individual rows, we have to write down this way. So I'm writing here log 0. So what happened? I'm getting the 0 row positions data. Okay, this is the 0 1 2. First I have to check that what is written here. Yeah, look at this. This is the log 0. This is the log 0, 101, 102, 103. So I'm writing here log 0. I'm getting the one row access. If you want to access the particular column, we are using this concept. Sorry, df2.name. df2.name. Okay. But if I want to access the particular row, then what we have to use? We have to use this concept also, df2.log 0. Okay, and we are getting that particular row information. Acha, there is one more thing. We can use this concept also. No, this is not working. This is not working. If I'm giving this way, then it is not working here. Look at this. But if I'm giving this way and I'm writing the name of the column here, marks only, then it is working. Then it is working. Means through column you can access, but through row you can't access this. Okay. So now you understand what is the use of the log function. Log function is going to use to access the individual. Meeting is going to end within a 10 minutes, so you have to join after the 5 minutes the same meeting again. Okay, so what we are going to do, df2.log, and I am writing here the name of the column 0, and if I want to access the any other column, so I can write the any other column also, other row number also. In this way we can access the, okay, 0 to 1. 0 to 2 I have given, so it's including the 2 here also. It's including the 2 here also. Remember that it is not a slice. It is just like a start row and end row. It is just like a start row and end row. So this we can mention the column name also. You can put the comma here, and now you can mention the column name also. We can use the column name also. I want only column marks information. So look at this. I'm getting the only marks information of this. If you want to access the name information, you just write the name here also. So what is the actual syntax of df log? This you have to understand carefully. Okay, what is the actual syntax of this? The actual syntax of the log is data frame dot log. First we are making the start row. I'm writing s row, then colon, end row, both are including, comma, start column, and colon, end column. So this is the syntax of the log functions. We can give the start row, end row, comma, okay, a start column, and column. Remember that it is not like a slice, so it's going to include everything. If you want to access the entire row, you put this. You want to access the entire column, you put this. Then it's going to give the entire row and entire column. If you want to just I want only entire row but selected column, then mention the column name here. If you want the selected row but entire column, either you leave it as a blank, you don't write anything, or you can write the column row number here, then put the comma and just put the column here. So this way we can access the all columns selected row, all columns selected row, all row, all columns, all rows, selected columns, all rows, all columns, and this is the actual syntax of the log function. So these things you have to remember. Now, if we want to use the ilog, there is a integer locations functions also, that is known as the ilog. We can use the ilog also. This is known as the integer location. Okay, through numeric index position. But remember that whenever we are using the through numeric positions, this is using the concept of the slice. This is using the concept of the slice. So what happened with the log function? With the log function, start and end all index are included. Whatever you are given a start, that is also included. Whatever you are giving in int, that is also included. Okay, but with the ilog, because it is just like a slice, so it's going to exclude the end. It's going to exclude the end. This is the very important thing you have to remember. Okay, but what is the advantage of ilog? Ilog is based on the slice concept. So you have to give the start, row, colon, star, and row, comma, start, column, colon, and column. This is the syntax of this. But only one thing you remember, this is not included. This is not included in output. This is also always excluded. So these things you have to remember. Now I'm going to show you some example of that. So we have a small data frame. We have a small data frame. So what I'm going to do, df2, and now I'm writing here. Just I'm writing first df2.log. Okay, try to understand. It's good thing. See, I'm using this concept here. So what happened? 0 column 2 I've given. So 0 row, 1 row, 2 row. All row is including. Now instead of this, I'm going to write here ilog. ilog. And look at this. It's giving only 0 and 1. It's giving only 0 and 1. So now it's clear to you. So I hope you understand this. And if I want a particular column also here, so I give the 0 colon 1. So it's giving only the name value. It's giving only the name value. Look at this. 0 colon 1, it's giving only name value. So that is the difference between log and ilog. Achha, one more thing is that, can I use this syntax here? 0 colon 1. I'm getting an error message. Why? Because lock is based on the indexes. Lock is based on the index. In this case, I have to give the proper index value here. The one thing you have to understand with data frame df2, the row index in a number, and this is the position also. This is the number and this is the position also. But the column index is on the basis of the name here. So if we are using the lock function, I have to give the name of the column here. I have to give the name of the column. Okay, name I can use like this way, and we are not getting an error message. So that is the use of the lock and ilog. Now you understand this. Individual value, I already told you how to access the individual value. If you want to access the individual value, we have a one more important function is there. There is a one function, there is a one basic concept of that. If you want to access the individual, so we can use this concept also, name, and we can write 0 index and 1 index, we can get this. There is a one function through that we can access the individual element. And what is the name of the function? That function is known as the at and iat. There is a two function, at and iat. Okay, at, that is based on the index, row level and column level. That is based on the row level and column level. Okay, these things you have to understand, row level and column level. And this is based on the row index number and column index number. Here we have to use the number because it is the integer at, okay, and column index number. Means you can say this is on by the position. You can say this is by position. I at I, if I is included, this is by position and this is by index. This is by index, either row or column index, either row or column index. So this thing you have to understand. Now I'm going to show you how we are going to use the at and iat. So now I'm writing here df2 dot at, and here I'm giving 0. I'm giving here 0, and now I'm writing here name. I'm writing here marks, 0 comma marks. Okay, so look at this. I'm getting the data here. And if I want to access the marks, so what is the index position? Position, if you're going to check the position, then what is the position? This is the position 0, this is the position 1. And if I want to access this, then what I have to write? I have to write 0 comma 1 with what? With iat. With iat, I have to write 0 comma 1. So what I'm going to write here, I'm going to write here df2 dot iat, and I'm going to write 0 comma 1, and now I'm getting the same value. So that is the difference between at and iat. Okay, so now you understand this. Now we are going to talk about these things in a next class, and you all are requested to join the class just after 5 minutes. I'm going to end the class right now, because I have to start the new topic. So you required to be join the next class just now. Okay, and then in that class, what I'm going to discuss with you, I'm going to discuss with you this operation. Okay, and then head and tail function. Only this is the very much important, because in a board exam you will get the questions from this topic. Definitely this is the most important topic. This is also the important topic, and whatever I have discussed with you, lock, ilock, at, and iat. This is also the very important topic. This is also the very important topic. So these things you have to remember carefully. Okay, because 25 more marks questions they are going to ask from the pandas. Okay, so out of this 25 marks question, I think that the 5 to 10 marks question they are going to ask from the visualization. Rest all questions they are going to ask from the pandas only. So from where they can ask the question? This much syllabus is given in related to the pandas. So from here only they can ask the question. So be careful with this. So just ready for the next class. Okay. Thank you all of you. Just join the next class first. Okay. Just 5 minutes. I'm not going to give you